Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends. And yeah guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by Minato and became the Otsutski king. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the previous part of this series. And if you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. You guys will definitely like it. So yeah guys, without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. But before that, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. So please guys subscribe to the channel. And yeah guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that Naruto finally decided to pay a visit to Minato and Konoha. After all, it was time that he got rid of this annoyance. After all, for Naruto, the bigger picture was the universe itself, the Otsutski clan. So he simply wanted to get rid of Minato by destroying Konoha and ending him. But unexpectedly, Minato was able to activate the Sage mode as well as the form of, you can say, some lower version of 6-part mode as well, since Minato has, you can say, absorbed a lot of Hashirama cell as well as he had experimented with the, you can say, the Jinchuriki cells like Menma, who was the reincarnation of Ashura. So he was able to get a lot of young chakra of Hagoromo, therefore activating a lower version of 6-part mode. But it was not enough for Naruto, as Naruto was easily able to take him down as the Uchihas arrived from the portal in which Naruto had arrived, as all of them had the Rinnegan, as Naruto has shared a little bit of his power. After all, Uchihas themselves had the potential to evoke the Rinnegan itself, and it was just the yin-yang chakra of, you can say, a Otsutski. So it was not hard for Naruto to give some power to the Uchihas who were able to evoke the Rinnegan, as they were easily able to destroy a lot of Konoha. But Minato, who was already prepared for it, after all, he had his own plan. When Naruto was about to end Minato, a portal opened from which two elites of the Otsutski clan arrived. It seemed that they had approached Minato before and they had made a kind of deal for Naruto to come out, as Naruto simply fought them. But unexpectedly, they were able to weaken Naruto's control over Shibai's chakra. Therefore, the consciousness of Shibai finally awoke in chakra inside of Naruto, which was not a good news. But Naruto decided to end the battle as quick as possible. After all, even though these two were elites, they were not comparable to Naruto, who had the power of the king of Otsutski inside of him. So Naruto easily able to take and destroy them, turning them into a chakra fruit, as Naruto was able to eat one of it. But just when he was about to devour the second fruit, the consciousness inside of his mind started to struggle a little bit, so Naruto had to suppress it. But Minato, taking advantage of the situation, quickly took the chakra fruit away with its flying Raijin, as Naruto was not able to get him in time, as he was able to escape from there. Afterward, Naruto, realizing that Minato was using some kind of, you can say, artifact from the Otsutskis to, you can say, avoid him. So Naruto simply took the direct way. After all, he did not have time to find Minato now, and he will take care of him later. For now, his ultimate goal was to suppress the consciousness that was now has finally awoken in his mind. So Naruto directly flew to the moon, where he knew that the Otsutski clan still resides, but the chakra inside of them was not pure enough. So Naruto simply destroyed the moon and quickly grabbed Kaguya, which was sealed inside of the moon, and turning her into a chakra fruit. Even though she was not at her full power, but she was enough for Naruto to turn into a smaller chakra fruit and ate her away. Finally, he was able to suppress the consciousness inside of his mind. So that was the last part of the series. So if you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. Finally, Naruto was flying in the mid-air. His power has evolved even further. But now there was another problem. Previously, Naruto only had a small portion of Shibai's chakra inside of it, and he was growing it with his own chakra so that this chakra turned into Naruto's permanently. But now Naruto can feel it. The chakra that was previously inside of him, that of Shibai, was growing rapidly, and it does not belong to him, even though now Naruto can suppress it. But later he was, you can say, damn sure that Shibai was trying to, you can say, enter in this dimension through the chakra which was now residing inside of Naruto. It was like a Jinchuriki, like existence, and he was putting more and more chakra inside of Naruto, trying to turn him into a horse. Naruto simply scoffed at that. This was the main reason he was trying to suppress the consciousness that was residing in the chakra. But now it has finally awoken. Therefore, wherever the complete form of Shibai was, he was trying to enter in this dimension through Naruto. Naruto simply scoffed at that. He finally had a new life. He was reborn. He will not allow Shibai to take over his bodies like some kind of host or anything like that. He hated the being of Jinchurikis. Therefore, he never wanted to be one. The only solution now is to destroy Shibai, but he was not powerful enough. There are few beings who are powerful enough to fight someone like that guy. Naruto looked down towards the elemental nation. He could feel the chakra of Minato, whatever means he was using previously. It seemed that his dear father has ate away the chakra fruit and he must be arrogant now. As Naruto thought it for a moment, he can simply go down and kill Minato and therefore taking the chakra fruit. But it would not do him any good whatsoever. A simple chakra fruit cannot solve his problems now. As Naruto simply frowned at that, he wanted to wait for some time. But it seemed that he was running out of time as Naruto simply looked towards a direction in the universe. He could feel it, the immense chakra in that place. As Naruto gritted his teeth at that, he could feel it inside of him. The chakra of Shibai was growing rapidly. It will not even take 1 month that his own chakra would be overpowered and he would be completely taken over. He cannot take that chance as Naruto gritted his teeth and quickly vanishes from the place of moon and turned towards a specific direction in the universe, while on the other hand, in the elemental nation, Minato has just absorbed the power of the chakra fruit as he burst with power and immense aura surrounded his body. As he started to laugh, finally, I have achieved the power. This is the power. In his eyes, there was red Rinne Sharingan. On his forehead, there was another yellow Rinne Sharingan as well. As Minato was laughing as Kushina finally approached Minato. Minato-kun, are you alright? As Minato looked back towards Kushina as his greedy look was almost revealed, but he quickly calmed himself down. Well, Kushina, I finally have the power to protect our family and take that monster down. As well as Kushina let out a sigh of relief. After all, whoever that guy was, he was simply too dangerous. He was able to destroy Konoha, but it seemed that many of the shinobis had survived. As Minato looked back to see that these were the elites of several clans which Minato had poached from those clans and now they are loyal to him. As Minato smirked at that, even though Konoha, a lot of force has died, there were around 10,000 shinobis in Konoha, but you have to understand that many of them were simple cannon fodder. Some of them were in simply, you can say, paper pushers or simply like that. The true force of Konoha is around 5,000 shinobis, which consist of elites of Chunins and Jonins and Ambu and such as that. While Minato had 2,000 shinobis, all of them were elite Chunins and elite Jonins. So therefore, Minato was confident that with his own power, this was more than enough to take over the elemental nation. He had to take care of Naruto as soon as possible. That kid was no longer useful to him, but he was truly a threat to his power and to his rule. Therefore, he had to take care of him. But before that, he had to conquer all the other villages as soon as possible. As Minato looked toward the sky, he could feel it, the chakra of Naruto. As he could also see the moon was destroyed, he frowned at that. He does not know why Naruto destroyed the moon, but it doesn't matter. The chakra of Naruto was getting far and far away from the elemental nation. As he frowned at that, wondering what his dear son was doing, but he simply shook his head. This was an opportunity for him. He was confident in his power, but he needed more reassurance, so therefore, he could only use that seal. As Minato smirked at that, well, dear son, when you will come back, I will definitely give you a surprise. With that, Minato looked towards his own shinobi, who were looking towards Minato with awe and fear in their eyes. As Minato smirked at that, well, it is time for Konoha to embrace its destiny. As Minato looked towards the direction of, you can say, Kubo and you can say Rock Village as well as the Sand Village and Mist Village as he smirked at that. While on the other hand, Naruto was flying towards the direction. Finally, he noticed some of the chakra, you can say signatures, were coming towards him as Naruto frowned at that. As finally, four figures arrived in front of Naruto, as these were the figures of the Otsutski clan, as most of them had the Rinnegan or some other dojutsu. As they looked towards Naruto with frown on their faces. After all, the chakra they were sensing from this guy, this was the chakra of their previous lord, that was Lord Shibai. So how does this guy has his chakra? As they frowned at that, they were truly confused. This guy does not have karma seal on on his body. So what is going on here? As before they could speak, as Naruto appeared in front of him and grabbing him by the neck and quickly turning him into a chakra fruit, and quickly Naruto ate it away and then looked toward the other Otsutsuki who were truly scared now but decided to attack Naruto quickly. But Naruto simply scoffed and once again disappeared from the place and grabbing them one by one and simply, you can say, ending them and turning them back into a chakra fruit. As Naruto once again looked in the direction of that place, it seemed that they have, you can say, alerted his enemies, but it doesn't matter. It only will work for him as Naruto once again disappeared and quickly towards the direction of the so-called empire of the Otsutskis. While in the Otsutsuki kingdom, two eyes were open. In one eye, it was a Jogan, while in the other eye, it was a strange dojutsu. His eyes narrowed. This chakra, could it be? As he looked towards the direction where Naruto was, but it was so far away. As his eyes narrowed, as he frowned at that, suddenly the door opened and some figures entered. These figures were looking slightly older, as this figure one spoke up, "My lord, can you feel it? We are sensing the chakra of your father, Lord Shibai." As the figure simply, you can say, nodded at that. This chakra does belong to him, but it is not complete. It is as if it is restrained by something. As his eyes narrowed, especially the eye of Jogan, as you can say, another figure spoke up, "My lord, many of our people we stand to investigate has disappeared, and their names on the sacred rock has also disappeared, as if they are turned back into a chakra fruit." As Shin, who was now the king of the Otsutsuki, he was the son of Shibai Otsutsuki, frowned at that. "My father always looked down upon such method. This person, whoever it is not my father. After all, he had already ascended, so why should he be here?" At this, you can say the elders simply looked towards each other and looked towards their king. As Shin simply shook his head, "Do not worry. I will handle this person myself. He's not that powerful anyways." Afterwards, he simply stood up, but before he could take step forward, some figures finally arrived. As I said, "My lord, we will take care of this person and bring him to you. You need not worry about it." As Shin looked towards these figures, these were his personal bodyguards, and therefore these were the elites of the Otsutsuki clan. As he simply nodded at that, "Alright then, bring him here alive. I want to see who this person is and how does he have the chakra of my father." With that, these figures disappeared. While on the other hand, in the elemental nation, Minato was flying in the air, looking down upon the army of around 50,000 shinobis. These were the shinobis of all the elemental nation. In front of him, the 4 kgs were standing, as well as, you can say, and the elites of the respective village. As Anoki spoke up, "Minato, you have gone too far. You should not have attacked our villages." As Minato, who was still flying in the air and feeling his power growing, getting stronger, as he simply smirked at that, "Anoki, I always feared you. After all, your technique is something that can even destroy a Biju. You're always the most dangerous cage. But after all, you gave me enough time to get stronger, and now I'm more than powerful enough to take down your respective villages." As Inoki grated his teeth at that, as he tried to stand up, but his chakra was already exhausted too much. At back of him, many of the shinobis were already injured. They had previously an army of around 60,000 shinobis, but 10,000 of them were simply killed off when Minato simply casually moved his hand. It was so easy, And most of these people who were killed off were mostly Jonins and elite Chunins, so they cannot understand how did Minato get this kind of power. After all, it is not like he's a Jinchuriki or anything like that, especially those eyes, as Sanoki and A gritted their teeth, wondering if Minato was performing some kind of experiment or if it is succeeded, as Anoki finally, you can say, stood up and started to fly and appeared in front of Minato. I do not care who you are, Minato, but you have gone too far. This time, I will put my life on the line and take you down. With that, he started to prepare his particle style as particle dismantled jutsu. With that, he released a beam of, you can say, his Keketora. Finally, it arrived in front of Minato as Minato simply sighed and shook his head as he moved his hand, and the Rinnegan in his hands opened up, quickly absorbing all the beam and chakra, shocking Anoki and all the people who were there. You know, Anoki, I gave you a chance, but it seemed that you do not want it. Well then, I can only give you a small gift in that case, as Minato opened his hand, and just like that, a gigantic Bijudama started to form while in the ground. The eyes of Killer Bee and the perfect Jinchurikis of the other villages finally opened. They quickly transformed into their final stage and started to power up their Bijudama, and they release it towards Minato as Minato simply smirked at that. To think I was once jealous of the power that these Bijus has, but now it is only ants. With that, Minato released his attack, quickly overpowering all the Bijudamas that were coming towards, you can say, Minato's attack to divert it, but it was a bit too late for that, as Minato's attack quickly absorbed the chakra from this Bijudama and finally landed in the center of the army of the shinobis, and just like that, a huge explosion took place, shocking the eyes of the cages before they could even run away. It was already too late, as many of them were already caught up in it, and just like that, 20,000 shinobis were finally disappeared as Minato simply shook his head. Well, Anoki, what do you think now? Would you like to submit to the rule of Konoha? At this, Anoki gritted his teeth at that. Their army was already halved. 60,000 shinobis has now turned into only 30,000 shinobis and samurais, as Anoki glared towards Minato, but he could feel the power that was inside of Minato. It was simply too much. He simply cannot defeat Minato. Even his best technique, the most powerful one, was defeated by this guy. Even A, who's at his full speed, was unable to do anything to Minato. So he could only, you can say, calm himself down and think about it. We cannot submit to your rule, Minato. As Minato simply shook his head. You do not have a choice, Anoki. I'm still talking with you. You do realize that I can end your villages and your shinobis with just a snap of my finger, as Minato snapped his finger, and the 10 mountains that were behind him simply, you can say, this were destroyed. And just like that, all the shinobis who were still, you can say, angry about the loss of their friends simply dropped their weapons. And Noki and A, as well as, you can say, the Kazekage and Mizukage also noticed this, and they were also frustrated about the whole situation. Finally, Anoki sighed, realizing that Minato could simply destroy their villages without any effort. Whatever Minato has become now was far beyond the reach of their elemental nation, as he gritted his teeth but simply bowed his head, as well as A, and you can say Kazekage and Mizukage also did the same thing, as Minato burst into laughter. Finally, I have fulfilled my destiny. I have become the ruler of the elemental nation, as he started to laugh at that. Do not worry, Onoki. I'm someone who always keeps his promises. So, you can take your shinobis and leave for now. At this, Onoki gritted his teeth but nodded at that. Just wait for the orders from Konoha. With that, the shinobi army simply disappeared. When they disappeared, a seal suddenly appeared on the ground where they were previously, as Minato smirked at that. Finally, come to me. And just like that, the bodies that were previously there turned into pure chakra and rushed toward the direction of Minato. As Minato opened his eyes, he could feel the power of these people. He had created this seal, and he finally put it there casually. When all the shinobis arrived, all the people who had died here, their chakra and souls did not get to the pure But instead, they were bounded here with this seal, which Minato was able to prepare with his new powers of the Rinnegan. So he was able to bond their souls and their bodies, turning them into pure chakra and absorbing them even further to get stronger. After all, Naruto will return and Minato would need more chakra to ascend to a higher level. As he simply smirked at that, as Minato looked in a direction, he could feel it, the pure land. This place should not exist. After all, this was a place which the Sage of Six Paths had created so that those of the shinobi kind their souls could arrive here, and when the time comes for the Otsutski to come, they can use these souls to reincarnate and be a weapon in the hand of Hagoromo to defeat all those people. But now Minato has set his eyes on the Pure Land to absorb it even further, while in the Pure Land, Hagoromo had a frown on his face. First, it was that guy, that Naruto person who had ascended far beyond the level of Six Paths, and now this Minato, who was the father of that guy, has also ascended. As Hagoromo was sure, even if his mother was brought back, he turned into his pure, you can say, to his prime, as well as his brother were to come back. They cannot fight against this father and son. Hell, they cannot even fight against them one on one. And the seal which he had used to defeat Kaguya cannot be used on this person. He was simply too powerful for such a seal to be hold. As Hagoromo created his state, he could only, you can say, enforce his power to protect the Pure Land. Because if either of these people were to come to the Pure Land, all the power he had collected in this world would be taken by them. While on the other hand, on the side of Minato, while on the side of Naruto, as Naruto was looking towards more and more Otsutskis that were coming towards him in this form, Naruto has already evolved even further. But for whatever reason, his, you can say, sense of reasoning was disappearing. Only he was feeling more and more, you can say, greed for chakra. He was simply looking toward these Otsutskis like chakra fruits, nothing more than that, as he simply smirked towards them. Well, you have only showed your faces, but it doesn't matter. All of you are simply chakra fruits to me. With that, he once again disappearing. It was like a massacre in, you can say, an army of Otsutskis, as they could not believe it. After all, they were the elites of the whole universe. They were the greatest race of all kind, but they were simply being turned into chakra fruit one after another, and they were simply getting angry about it. They were the people who always planted the tree to get the chakra fruit, but this person was simply turning them into chakra fruit. It was like an insult to them, as at this point Naruto has already turned 30% of these people into chakra fruits, and most of them were simply too scared to do anything. Finally, another figure spoke up. We have to do something. This person who has stolen the power of our Lord Chibai is simply too dangerous. We have to take him down. At this, finally, one person who was bleeding all over grated his state. Damn it, I am the protector of Lord Shin. I will stop you here. As he was about to use all of his power to attack Naruto, but suddenly, you can say, the whole place started to shake violently and they were confused. After all, this was space, not ground or anything. So how could this space be moving like this? As Naruto gritted his teeth and looked in the direction, finally a portal opened up and a majestic figure finally stepped forward. So you are the thief who has stolen the power of my father, huh? Interesting. As this figure finally spoke up, this was the king of the Otsutski clan, the Shin Otsutski. As he looked towards Naruto upside down, finally his eyes activated and the eyes of Jogan were now looking towards Naruto. You are intriguing, human. After all, it is like my father is inside of you, but he's at the same time not. So how did you get this kind of power? After all, my father has already ascended. As Naruto looked towards, you can say, Shin. So you're the current king of the Otsutsuki clan and the son of that person, huh? Well, it doesn't matter. As for your father being ascended, don't make me laugh. He was just a fool who got over his head and lost all of his power. It is just a legend of this so-called Otsutsuki god. At this, all of the Otsutsuki clan people were shocked to hear this, and they were angry at the same time. It was the only legend in their people to eat a lot of chakra fruit, therefore you can ascend to the higher existence like a god of the Otsutski. But to hear that the person who was supposedly ascended was not, it was like a slap to their faces. As Naruto, you can say, look towards him. You're the person who has most chakra in these people. Once I turn you into a chakra fruit, I will surely be able to suppress the consciousness of Shibai in my mind. As Shin simply smirked at that. So that's the reason you're here, huh? Huh, what a fool you are. Do you honestly believe it? That my eyes cannot see inside of your soul. I can feel it, even though my father may not have ascended, but I can feel it. You are nothing more than a vessel for him to come back to life. That's not the greatest state at that. And you honestly believe it, that I will allow him to use my body as a vessel for his resurrection. Don't make me laugh. Once I have taken all of your chakra, my own will and power will be more than enough to suppress his chakra. At this, Shin started to laugh as he burst into laughter. You honestly believe that, human? Even if you were to take all of our chakra, you will never be able to suppress the power of my father. He may not be able to ascend, but his chakra is more than powerful enough to even suppress all of our kind. He was the greatest of us all. At this, not to simply scoff, it doesn't matter, and you're wasting my time. So die and turn into a chakra fruit. With that, Naruto disappeared and appeared in front of Shin, as Shin simply moved his hand, grabbing the face of Naruto, as a huge, you can say, shockwave erupted from the encounter, sending all of the Otsutski clan members flying. And in the center of it, Shin was still standing there with a bored look on his face. As Naruto's eyes widened, he could not believe it. How? How is this possible? He was even using the power of Shibai. But this person was able to stop his attack like nothing. And the moment Naruto made contact, he could feel his own bones were bending, as if it has hit something that cannot be broken. But this person was looking at him casually. Human, your power may be impressive, but do not forget, I am his son. With that, Shin simply slapped Naruto to the face, sending him flying into a planet. As a huge explosion took place, the planet itself was destroyed. As Naruto came from one side of the planet and appeared from the second side, slamming into one of the moons nearby. As Naruto himself could not believe it, that force, he tried to stop himself, but he could not even move. Not even for a second. As Naruto graded his state, his chakra was already healing his body. As Naruto said, enough! With that, he burst with power. He was finally reborn. He will not allow himself to die. He will not allow himself to be taken over by a damn parasite. As he glared towards Shin, do you think that I will stop here? No, I will kill you as well as your damn father, and afterward, I will take all the chakra in this universe. With that, Naruto finally exploded with all of his power. All the chakra fruits he has eaten before finally turned into pure power, as Naruto was engulfed with pure chakra. As he finally started to laugh, as he once again opened his mouth as a beam of energy slammed into the direction of Shin. As Shin frowned at that, this person was getting stronger and stronger. As he frowned at that, no, this chakra, it doesn't belong to him. This is the power of his father, which is returning to this person more and more. And Shin frowned at that as he made another ball of energy, and a beam of energy slammed into Naruto's beam. And a beam struggle finally appeared. You damn mortal. Do you believe that you can kill me? Just die already. And with that, Shin started to put more chakra in his beam, which started to overpower Naruto's beam. Damn you, as Naruto was screaming in his mind. He was so close, just so close to his power. As Naruto created his state, but he could feel it. All the chakra he had absorbed was not enough for this guy to be defeated. As he created his state. Mortal, your power may be impressive, your will is even more impressive, but you cannot kill him. After all, he is my son. Inside of Naruto's mind, as Naruto finally appeared, a figure who was tied down with several chains. You can say a lot of dusty chains. Now, simply was looking towards Naruto. The only way for you to survive is to use more of my power. It's not to grit his teeth at that. Do you think that I do not know what you're trying to do? Me using your power will simply bring you back to life even further. At this, Shibai simply chuckled at that. Mortal, do not be arrogant. My power is not something you can use casually. Do you honestly believe that you could suppress the slither of power that was left behind in my previous body that easily? You fool. How do you think that you were brought back to life? At this, Naruto's eyes widened. Yes, I already knew everything. My body that was left behind was always looking for a way to return back. Your soul was the perfect way for me to use it, even though it took a lot of power, but it was enough. And you have already used so much of my power, so why not use more? After all, maybe once you absorb the power of my son, you could suppress me even further. Would you not like to try it, mortal? After all, it is either sure death or a gamble. As not to gritted his teeth at that, now realizing that why his soul did not get to the pure land and why he had to see it all and now come back to life. He always wondered about it. It is not like he had a system with him or anything like that. And there was no reason for his soul to be left behind. After all, if it is only hatred that was keeping his soul, then all of the element and nation souls would never, you can say, pass to the afterlife. After all, they are all hateful and resentful for their respective deaths, as Naruto greeted his state in the outside world. Now, the beam of Shin was mere meters away, and Naruto was already pushing a lot of his chakra to stop this attack. As Shin simply scoffed at that, he was able to defeat this person. Once this guy is defeated, surely his father would be proud of him. And once he come back, then he will see that his son also had a lot of potential. As Shin simply smiled at that and put more of his chakra in the beam of energy that was about to crush Naruto. But suddenly, another explosion of power took place, and more chakra was now coming from Naruto as Shin's eyes widened. This chakra, how could it be? And once again, you can say Naruto's beam was getting stronger and more powerful as it already had come to the center of the beam struggle as Shin gritted his teeth. This human was using more of his father's power and it has already multiplied 10 times, no, already 100 times as Shin gritted his teeth and put more and more chakra inside of his attack. You damn human, how are you doing that? As he released all of his energy now both of his hands were inside of the beam of energy. All the other Otsutski clan members could not believe it. After all, this was their king, and that was the previous king's power. Why could it be that this much of a difference could be formed, and this was just a human, a normal, tiny human? How could he do something like that? As all of them gritted their teeth and looked towards each other and nodded as they appeared behind. Shin, my lord, take our power. With that, you will be able to defeat this person. We cannot allow our name as an Otsutski be destroyed by this human. With that, they started to push all of their chakra inside of Shin. As Shin gritted his teeth, this was his people, even though the Otsutskis does not care about each other, but there were still laws that govern them, especially the law that no Otsutski can kill other Otsutski. And with that, many of his people had already disappeared as if turned into branches that were simply destroyed at this point. As Shin spoke out, damn you human. With that, he released all of his energy and the energy he had absorbed from the other Otsutskis. Now only few Otsutskis are left behind and they were using their power and making beams of energy to stop Naruto's beam. But Naruto's beam once again increased in size and power as Shin gritted his teeth. He was putting a lot of his energy into this attack, but it was still being pushed back. Father, why are you doing this? Now realizing that his father was deliberately giving this human his power. Could it be that he was that desperate for power that he doesn't even care about his son and his own race? While inside of, you can say, Naruto's mind, Shin, you are always a disappointment and you will die as a disappointment. Do not worry, once you're dead, I will take your chakra for myself and I will ascend this time. And that was the last word Shin had heard in his mind. And Naruto's beam has finally engulfed, you can say, Shin whole body as he screamed in pure pain and agony. All the other Otsutskis who were, you can say, trying to push Naruto's beam of energy away were simply sent flying as Naruto looked towards their bodies. His own body was trembling. Yes, he had defeated them, and he could feel it inside of his mind. As Shibai was almost completely loose as Naruto created his state and rushed in the direction of, you can say, Shin, grabbing his almost dead body and completely turning him into a chakra fruit as Naruto quickly, you can say, ate the chakra fruit and his power once again skyrocketed as Naruto also looked toward the other Otsutskis as Naruto simply moved his hand and all of them turned into chakra and entered in Naruto's mind, while inside of Naruto's mind, Naruto finally appeared and the dusty chains that were present there were almost loosened to the point that they were not even restraining Chibai anymore. It's not the great his state. You shouldn't have allowed me to do that. Now that I have this power, I can take you down and just die already. As for your power, I will take care of it. As Naruto appeared in front of Shibai, as Shibai finally opened his eyes. So, you are finally ready to face me, my new vessel. At this, Naruto simply scoffed at that. As Shibai looked towards Naruto pretty amused as he finally stood up, all the chains that were binding him simply shattered into 1,000 pieces. Mortal, you are rather useful to me. After all, I have chosen you to be my perfect vessel. But now, it is time for you to disappear. After all the chakra of the Otsutski clan now belongs in this body, my own chakra. Now, it has finally come between you and me. Now, once either of us disappear, the other will definitely take over all of this power and all of this body. So, why not fight with each other? After all, it is time for us to decide the winner. At this, Naruto simply, you can say, crack his knuckles. I cannot agree more. Shibai, after all, it is damn time that you return to your grave. At this, Shibai started to laugh as he snapped his finger and the whole scene finally disappeared and both Naruto and Shibai were standing in the vast universe. As Shibai looked back, you see, I always wanted to leave this dimension. It is not like I cared about it. All of its resources were already drained by me eons ago. There were thousands, no, millions, if not billions of planets. And I was a person. The very first few Otsutski member, I was the one who had devoured so many planets, so many races. Their power was finally inside of me, and when it came my time to finally ascend, something went wrong. I finally realized that I did not have enough chakra to ascend, and for me to ascend even further, I just needed to increase the power of my weak race who were simply weak at the time. So I simply left some legends for them to collect chakra fruits and all that. And when the time comes, someone like you, a perfect vessel for me, will come to take all of the chakra back and return it back to me so that I can use that power to ascend, finally ascend. And now that you have collected all of this chakra for me, so I will simply thank you and send you on your way. As Naruto simply scoffed at that, you are simply a fool, Otsutski. Do you honestly believe about this so-called ascension and all that? I do not care about it. You should have been content with your power and be done with this drainage and all that. But do not worry, since you are the one who has collected all of that power from me, I will also thank you and send you to your grave. With that, Naruto disappeared as Shibai simply smirked. He also disappeared as Naruto and Shibai met in the center as their fists collided as a shockwave erupted. And this was far greater than when Naruto and, you can say, Shin were fighting against each other. Shibai frowned at that. This person was actually more stronger than he previously thought, but he simply shook his head. After all, he was still confident in his power as he lunged towards Naruto, as Naruto also, you can say, rushed towards Shibai and Shin. As Naruto and Shibai went to few rounds with each other, fighting against each other, and they seemed to be evenly matched. Finally, Shibai stopped and looked towards Naruto with an amused smirk on his face. You know, human, this whole fight is meaningless anyway. So, since I have given you last shred of respect, so it is time for you to be on your way. As Shibai simply folded his hand and the whole place started to shake violently as Naruto frowned at that. It was never about power. After all, you and I both are residing in the same body. The power that belongs to either of us actually resides in this body. So the fight between you and me is only the fight of wills. And do not forget, your will may be impressive, human, but I have lived for thousands, if not millions of years. So no matter how great of a will you have, it is nothing compared to me. With that, Naruto saw the world around him started to crack. This was the control over the mindscape. This was the control over the very soul of this body. Let's not frown at that. So, this was your trump card. You're confident that you can take me down and take over this body. As Shibai simply scoffed and started to laugh at that. You should have thought about it, human. After all, it is not much of a complicated idea. So, it is time for you to disappear. I started to look towards his hand and cracks started to appear all over his body. As Naruto glared towards Shibai. Do not think about powering up and all that. After all, it doesn't work here. Only the will is the greatest. As Naruto gritted his teeth and looked down as his whole body was shaking and Shibai was about to say something, but Naruto burst into laughter at that. As Shibai was a bit confused about the whole deal. After all, Naruto's whole body was covered with cracks ready to disappear any second. As Shibai was confused at that, as Naruto looked towards Shibai with an amused expression, and Naruto's hand, which was about to shatter, finally turned into normal state as Naruto's whole body also started to turn normal. As Shibai was confused, what is going on here? He was clearly here. He was the one who was oldest here. His will was the greatest, so why is this happening? This person was resisting him, but how is this possible? As Naruto looked towards Shibai with an amused expression, Shibai, I always was wondering what was wrong with me. After all, I was content with having your power and some chakra fruits. I was already the strongest in my hometown, but there was always a voice at the back of my head telling me to absorb more and more chakra. With chakra, I would be able to suppress your consciousness. I had never, for a moment, I was also, believe that. But I finally realized something was wrong. So I finally realized your little plan about the whole ordeal, trying to use me to, come back to life. Not only that, and using me to absorb the power of the Otsutski clan. So I finally made a small plan of my own self. I cannot control myself, but I can do something in advance to taking chakra. As Shibai was looking confused, suddenly he looked towards his hand. Cracks had started to appear in his hand. As Shibai was confused, looking towards Naruto. I did not only taken their chakra, I also took their souls. As Naruto snapped his finger at the back of him, there were hundreds, no, thousands of Otsutskis standing there in a dull expression, and with their souls come their will. At this, Naruto grabbed, a almost thin wire, almost, invisible. That was now, inserting in the body of Shibai. So all of your power belongs to me. With that, Naruto started to pull the chakra outside of Shibai, whose whole body started to crack as Shibai's eyes widened. At this, he was also taken aback. After all, he was also a bit suppressed at that time. After all, his whole body and all of his power was not here. So he was unable to see what Naruto actually did. At the back of, Naruto, all the other Otsutskis also have a thin rope made up of chakra coming from Shibai's body. They were also pulling it towards the direction of Naruto. As Shibai was truly taken aback. He had planned this for eons to come back to take all of chakra of this universe for himself, turning it into dust and finally ascending. But why? Why is that? His ultimate plan was taken down. Damn you, human! I will not allow you to take my power. He lost it. After all, he was the greatest being this universe has ever seen and known, and he will not allow this human to take his power, his chakra, as he tried to stop, this chakra flow from his body. It was a bit too late for that, as he screamed in, defiance, but it was already far too late for him to do anything. All his power is already in this body, and the only thing he can use inside of his mindscape is only the will. And that was finally shattered as Shibai screamed, "Damn you, human!" But it was finally done as Shibai's whole body, like a glass, shattered into thousand pieces. As Naruto finally looked toward the chakra, as that was left behind, as Naruto's hand finally touched the flame-like chakra, which finally engulfed Naruto. It was like a sun is born in the universe. While on the other side, Minato was looking toward the Sage of Six Paths, as well as his brother Hamura, as both of them were panting and looking towards Minato in utter horror. Minato had finally invaded the Pure Land, where the souls of all the shinobis that have died resides. As the Sage of Six Paths gritted his teeth at that, "Human, you do not understand. What are you doing?" As Minato scoffed at that, "I'm trying to protect this planet. After all, my son will be back sooner or later, and his power is greater than mine. And for me to take him down, there is only one way, to take the power of all the souls that resides in the Pure Land." At this, Hagoromo grated his teeth. "You should not take your this power will only blind you. With only hard work and coming together and working and understanding each other, you can have true power." As Minato looked towards Hagoromo with a dumbfounded look. After all, this person was truly stupid. Does he not realize that all of these things are nothing compared to absolute power? And Naruto's power was greater than Minato's, and Minato cannot take any chance. After all, with power comes ambition. He has already subdued the elemental nation, and soon enough he will go to the other planets and take them down so that his empire could get even bigger. As Minato simply shook his head, "It doesn't matter, says of Six Path. You may be our ancestors, but you will not tell me what to do." As in front of him there were bodies of, you can say, the soul states of. In the soul states were the famous shinobis who were also injured at this point, as Tobirama, as well as Hashirama, Madara, the other cages, as well as many famous and shinobis and those shinobis. These were the people who had activated chakra. As long as they activate chakra, thus their body dies. Their soul returned to the Pure Land instead of going to the afterlife. This was like a collection machine for shinobis so that they can be later used by Hagoromo. At this, you can say, Tobirama speak up. "Minato, what are you doing? Tell me about it." As Minato looked towards his grandfather, and Minato's eyes, you can say, glowed for a second, and all the information about Naruto and the things that were going on in the elemental nations come to the mind of Tobirama. As Tobirama frowned at that, but finally closed his eyes. "Brother, stop fighting." As Hashirama, who was ready to perform his technique, also stopped at that. "Tobirama, what are you doing?" As Tobirama simply shook his head. "Brother, this is something for the elemental nation. This is our descendant, and at the moment they're facing the greatest threat. Even with his power, he will not be able to stop that person. There is only one way, and that is for us to use our power and give it to him." At this, Hashirama frowned at that. This guy was already powerful enough, and he was also a senju, so he had little objection to it. But he was also, you can say, confused at this point. As Madara spoke up, "Damn you, Tobirama, who do you think you are? You damn senjus trying to steal our power." As Tobirama looked towards Madara, "Madara, do not think that I do not know about your little plan of infinite Tsukiyomi." As Madara almost choked at that. But they are facing the greatest threat to the elemental nation, and that person has to be stopped. So I'm willing to give our power. As Hagoromo, realizing the situation was not going according to his plan, spoke up. "But once you give your power, your soul will also leave the Pure Land." As the shinobis who had died several years ago were also did not want their souls to disappear. As Minato simply scoffed at that. "Do not fool us, Sage of Six Path. I already know this so-called Pure Land should not exist. Their soul should have already went to the afterlife, but just stop them here. Once they depart from their chakra, they will simply return to the afterlife, the real afterlife, not this so-called Pure Land." As Hagoromo frowned at that, he did not want it to explain this situation, but now realizing that these souls who were already unconscious finally realized that they should not be here. This is not the afterlife. As you can say, Hashirama let out a sigh. At this, he looked towards Tobirama and then towards Minato. Child, you're a Senju, so I will trust you at this point. At that, Hashirama simply stopped as Minato simply nodded at that as he simply moved his hand, and all the souls who were reluctant finally stopped in their movement. Their chakra was being sucked inside of Minato, whose dojutsu started to evolve even further as Hagoromo wanted to stop this, but he was already too much exhausted to do anything. Even his brother was panting at the side. He was also exhausted with fighting with Minato, as Minato could feel it. All the souls were finally disappearing from the Pure Land at the last second, as Madara, who was still cursing, "Damn you, Tobirama, damn you, Senju, damn you, Obito," and with that, his soul also disappeared. And the last one to go were Tobirama and Hashirama as they looked towards each other and looked towards Minato and also simply disappeared as Minato could feel it inside of his body. It was far stronger than when he ate the chakra fruit. After all, not few thousand shinobis has died in recent years. This was the accumulation of thousands of years of shinobis coming together. So this chakra was far greater than that of the Jubi itself, far greater than any Otsutski, as Minato burst into laughter at that. Ha, finally, this power, it all belongs to me. I am the savior of this world. Child of destiny. At this, he started to laugh even further as Hagoromo frowned at that. But it was too late as Minato already appeared in front of him and his brother, turning them into two chakra fruits as Minato simply ate them away and his power once again increased. While on the other hand, Naruto has finally returned to the elemental nation as he was flying in the mid-air. In both of his eyes were now the Jogan. His power was unprecedented in this world. As Naruto could feel it, Minato has gone to the Pure Land and he had already absorbed the so-called Pure Land. Naruto had also took notice of the Pure Land, but he was simply, you can say, taking care of pure chakra and did not want it to go to the Pure Land to get the chakra from Hagoromo and his brother. After all, it was not even comparable to that of, you can say, pure Otsutskis to begin with. So Naruto finally decided to arrive to the elemental nations. Minato, who had just arrived from the portal, looked toward the direction in the sky. "I already know you're there, Naruto, so why not show yourself?" At that, Naruto finally, you can say, descended from the sky, looking towards Minato with a bored expression on his face as Minato snapped his finger at his back. You can say his trusted people finally arrived. That was, you can say, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Menma, Mito, Kushina finally arrived as Minato looked towards them and he snapped his finger. Their body exploded with chakra as they looked towards each other. All the information was already in their mind as Minato looked towards Naruto. "I know you're strong, Naruto, but now I have absorbed the Pure Land, so therefore, now I possess. It is more than your power, Naruto. So it is time for me to take you down and be the ruler of the elemental nation. But since you are also my son, I will give you an opportunity as long as you hand over all of your chakra to me. I will simply let you live." At this, Naruto looked towards Minato with still bored expression on his face. After all, the amount of power he possessed, it is not something someone like Minato could ever touch in his whole life. Even if the Pure Land was multiplied by thousands of times, it would not be comparable to the power that Naruto possessed. As Naruto simply shook his head, as Minato smirked, realizing that Naruto would not hand over his power, so Minato could simply take it as Minato snapped his finger as a huge portal opened. From it, all the shinobis of the elemental nations has finally arrived. In this time, Minato had already subdued the cages and put seals in their mind so that they could be loyal to Minato. As Minato spoke up in front of all the people of the elemental nation, "I will take you down, Naruto. You demon do not have the right to live, so therefore just die." With that, Minato, you can say, powered up his full state as if a tiny star has landed in the world as Minato's whole body was glowing with power. As Minato looked towards Naruto with a twisted expression on his face, as Naruto simply looked towards Minato with a bold expression. So now, as Minato powered up a beam of energy in his hand, die! With that, Minato released all of that power towards Naruto. It was like a Kamehameha wave that was coming towards Naruto, as Naruto simply looked towards the wave and simply moved his hand. It was like a backslap to the beam as it had disappeared in the sky. As Naruto looked towards Minato, I'm just getting started. As Minato spoke up, today I have the greatest of the battle in my life. I took down two of the greatest foes that this universe has ever seen. Fighting you, it is like a disrespect to me. So therefore, I will simply take back what belongs to me. With that, Naruto simply moved his hand and his eyes glowed as Minato, who was about to say something, noticed something was wrong as he looked back towards the people of the shinobi world who were ready to see their new hero Minato take down this demon. But to their horror, their whole bodies were glowing. All of their chakra was rushing towards Naruto in the whole world, as if the nature has come back to life. Very nature chakra was being sucked out of it. As Naruto looked toward the chakra of the world, this world should not have original chakra to begin with. It was just the normal energy of the any planet, which it was only because of the Jubi and the sacred tree the chakra came around. So this world can survive without chakra as well. So Naruto was simply taking back what belongs to him. And with that, the very natural chakra of the world was being sucked dry in the three summoning places as Mamaru was simply on his knees. The world, the chakra in their summoning places was being sucked out of their bodies. Even the toads that were speaking before had already returned back to their original state. That was simply mindless animals. As Gamumaru was screaming, all of his chakra was taken back and he was turned into dry, overgrown toad, nothing more than that. And this was the same thing that was going on in the world of all the summoning places. As Minato screamed, "You stop!" But before he can say anything, his whole body stopped. He could feel it. His chakra was also leaking from his body as he looked towards his hand, which were pure white, returning back to their original color. You cannot do that. Stop it. I am your father. I'm commanding you. Stop. As it was too late for that, as all the people of the world screamed at that, as their chakra, as if their souls were taken away. But they were not dead. This was only their chakra as Naruto looked towards Minato, who was still trying to scream, trying to gather his power to attack Naruto, but his chakra was all over the place, unable to do anything. And finally, Minato was the last one left as he screamed and yelled at the same time, even begged at the last second. After all, he was drunk on power. This was the power he had always dreamed of, but it was slipping from his very fingers tiny bit every second as Minato finally let out a scream. As he returned back to his original appearance, all of his chakra was taken away. As Naruto simply looked towards all of them with a, you can say, disgusted expression on his face. As he looked towards Minato, Minato, you're the most disgusted person here, but it doesn't matter. After all, it is time for you to pay for your crimes. Before anyone could say anything, as Naruto simply snapped his finger, and just like that, Minato was arrived in the Kamui dimension. This was the dimension of Obito as Minato was about to say something, but he saw that all of his hands and you can say legs were bound with chains. As Naruto looked towards him, I can kill you, but that would not be a regret for you. So I will punish you in the most cruelest method. The world of the infinite Tsukiyomi. It will be the same for you. In each world, you will have absolute strength, but in the last second, everything will be taken from you. Your family, your power, everything you ever cared about. And this cycle will continue till eternity. With that, Minato, before he could say anything, his eyes turned into that of the Rinnegan, and he started to dream about his perfect world that will crumble every second. And once he realized it will once again start from the zero, as Naruto simply shook his head and disappeared from the world. As he finally looked toward the elemental nation, honestly, he doesn't have feelings for this world. After all, the only things he remembered were truly cruelest. As Naruto simply shook his head, perhaps his journey ended. Could it be that this was the reason that Shibai wanted to ascend, wanted to leave this world, to go to a higher plane so that he could have even further challenges? Could it be this was the reason for this so-called legend of the Otsutski clan? As Naruto did not know, maybe he will have the answer. But before Naruto could think anything, his eyes turned, you can say, into darkness. Nothing was around. As Naruto was confused, but before he can say anything, he saw a vision. He was floating in the mid-air. In front of him was a gigantic tree. The tree has multiple branches that were overlapping with each other and going all over the place. As Naruto was confused, could it be this? As Naruto's eyes opened, his Shogun could see this. A word came to his, you can say, mind, the multiverse. And Naruto's eyes were finally looking toward the majestic tree of the timelines of the parallel universes, the multiverse itself. As finally a smile came to his face, it seemed that my journey has not ended just yet, and ambition once again came to the dull eyes of Naruto. But hey guys, I'm gonna end this part here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this series. So yeah guys, if you guys liked it, so please left a like and comment behind, because it was really a good journey for this series. So hopefully I hope that you guys, all of you, liked it. And yeah guys, please subscribe to the channel, and the link is in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So yeah guys, see you soon. Peace.